Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
Hi, welcome to the November 6th edition of Basis Loaded with Joe Schmit. I am Joe Schmit. This episode, as always, is produced by Paige Driscoll with help from the Everag Insights team. As you can see behind me, it is another glorious fall day in the Chicagoland area. What better way to celebrate than with the latest from the NDPSR report? And we'll kick it off this week with butter. This butter number coming in at 271.44 represents a +3 to the CME 1 week average of 268.15. So normal basis in butter. We're back to it. Normal basis trading 3 over. The manufacturer was a little bit short on weight. You'll notice here only 2.8, a little bit north of 2.8 million pounds trading on the NDPSR. So below our expected volume level. And that's even with 9 loads trading at the CME last week. So normal basis on a little bit lower than expected volume in butter. In cheese, we'll start with the blocks. 199.51. That is a +7 to the CME 1 week average of 192.20. We traded 12 loads at the CME last week. So a little bit of volume at the CME. Volume falling short of expected levels here, coming in just a little bit over 11.1 million. But again, outsized basis. Now this is a little bit closer to normal. +7 is a little bit closer to our normal expected basis and probably a little bit closer to what we're going to be seeing in the weeks to come. So we've moved basis in from recent weeks, but still +7 outsized basis. And all in all, that 11.1 million volume mark, not too shabby, all things considered. And in the barrel, $2.39. So that's a +8 to the 2 week average of 192.27. We traded only 4 loads at the CME last week, but as you see here on the NDPSR, we don't need CME volume to achieve higher than expected volume on the NDPSR. And this 13.7 that we achieved this week represents the 4th consecutive week that volume on the NDPSR has achieved a level greater than 13.3 million pounds. So big volume has been the consistent in the barrel as prices have come off of that recent 260 level, the manufacturer removing a lot of weight. And again, +8, a little bit higher than our normal 4 to 6 cent positive basis. So at that higher than expected basis, the manufacturer moving higher than expected volume seems to be a win for the manufacturer in barrels. And what's interesting, we basically had on the 1 week average for the block and the 2 week average for the barrel, essentially a parity, 192. Here, big premiums on both block and barrel, with the barrel coming in a little bit over the block due to the higher basis relative to the CME weekly average. In whey, we finally got the 2 cent jump that we were looking for last week, coming in at 58.34. So although that is a -1.5 basis to the CME 1 week average of 59.70, in whey we're always going back to the October 19th NDPSR price of 56.08. So the manufacturer was able to call a, let's call it 2.3 cent premium over prior week's NDPSR. And at that level was able to move almost 4.8 million pounds. And this is with only 4 loads trading on the CME last week. 4.8 is higher than our expected volume level for whey, however, lower than recent weeks, and you could even argue significantly lower than the sales that we've recorded in recent weeks. But the manufacturer still able to call a 2.3 cent premium over prior week's NDPSR, moving a good amount of weight at that level. So next week, our benchmark is going to be the October 26 number, that 56.35. We'll see how sales from the manufacturer hold up against that elevated 56.35 level. And then lastly, non-fat, 136 even. That is essentially a flat basis to the CME 1 week average of 135.90. Now, non-fat was our volume leader at the CME last week with 34 loads trading at the CME at essentially 138-ish. So, you put those 34 loads in at 138 minus the freight. So that 136 is a pretty good number, but even with all that weight trading at the CME, still just a little bit north of 15 million pounds here on the NDPSR. I'd have to call flat basis a win, and anything over 15 million pounds on the NDPSR lately seems to be pretty good. So call it just steady as she goes in non-fat. So this is week 1 of 5 for the November pricing cycle, currently getting a November class 3 of 2027 and a November class 4 of 2085. So class 4 has moved premium to class 3 once again, if all things hold at the CME and basis hold true. If you carry current CME equivalents out through the 4-week December pricing cycle, now we're still pricing November at the CME. If you carry these current CME prices all the way through that December pricing cycle, getting a December class 3 of 1975 and a December class 4 of 2087. So in just a few short weeks, I'll be stepping back from doing basis loaded. I have 2 more weeks after this episode. If you have any ideas, questions, comments about how you would like the show to continue in the future, don't hesitate to reach out to the EverAg Insights team and file your input. Until next week, we'll see what they have in store for us at the CME. On behalf of Paige and the entire EverAg Insights team, thanks so much. Bye.